Hi friends, I'm Scott Giles and welcome to Power Talk, my podcast here on Facebook Live and YouTube. I cover topics related to spirituality, hypnocoaching, and the hypnotic arts and sciences in general. If you'd like to know more about my professional work, and I hope you do, or sign up for my free e-newsletter, Power Lines, check out my website, which I'll tag at the end of this video. Well, today I want to talk about an ancient ritual practiced by my ancestors. It was called the Ritual of Boasting. Now, according to Ancestry.com, the best description for my ethnic background is Anglo-Saxon. However, that doesn't tell one very much, as the Anglo-Saxon people were really kind of a mongrel made up of several different nationalities that clustered together and eventually unified, occupying the land we now think of as Great Britain. Beginning with several German tribes, the culture absorbed the native Britons, the Vikings that migrated during the Great Pagan Migration, the Celtic people, and the Pictish and Scottish peoples as well. Historically, the Anglo-Saxons had their greatest development from about 450 to 1066 Common Era, right up until the Norman invasion. Now, the spiritual beliefs of the Anglo-Saxons were quite disparate. There was a heavy Nordic influence, with the chief god being called Woden, spelled with a W, instead of the Norse Odin, spelled with an O. Many eventually converted to Christianity, which existed alongside pagan practices for a considerable period. But regardless of what religious beliefs the people held, there was a social ritual that remained popular. And the best translation is the ritual of boasting, also called the Sumbrel, meaning feast or banquet. It's spelled a little different whether you are looking at Old English, Old Saxon, Old High German, or Old Norse, but you can find an account of the ritual in several ancient texts: Beowulf, Dream of the Rood, and a number of Eddic and Saga texts. Basically, it was a drinking ritual that was held to be of high significance in the cultures in which it was found. You start with a drinking vessel, traditionally a drinking horn like this one, and you fill it with an appropriate alcoholic beverages. Now, I'm not recommending the consumption of alcohol, but you'll get the idea. Very typically, the liquid used was mead, which is made from fermented honey. Then the people in a family or the people in a gathering would get into a circle and they would pass the horn around. And everyone would take a drink from it, and they then say something elaborate. It might start out with a toast to the divine powers or the ancestors, but after the horn had gone around the circle a few times, the toasts became increasingly personal and exaggerated. That's right, exaggerated. The participants were expected to make up increasingly elaborate and far-fetched stories about themselves that they would boast about to those gathered. Now, no one took the boasts seriously, and they could get pretty silly with people engaging in hyperbole or embroidering what they had to say about themselves. In fact, prizes were sometimes given to the person who could come up with the best fib about themselves that would be accompanied by laughter. This was all done in the spirit of good fun. No one was attempting any sort of deception, so it's not like we've seen in, say, some areas of modern politics. The people were actually poking fun at themselves and their intellectual, physical, or even sexual prowess. Well, there are days when I think we might need to go back to this practice or at least something similar. Now, I'm not recommending everyone get drunk together while telling lies, but I don't think most people take enough pride in themselves. Apart from a few who have narcissistic problems, normally functioning people tend to not think that well about themselves. There is so much pain that people carry, and finding a remedy, however partial, might be a good thing. Back when I was a parish minister, I used to tell the congregation to look up while praying instead of bowing their heads as if someone were punishing them or exerting dominance over them. It actually became popular and one of the hallmarks of my work there. We need to find ways of giving ourselves a pat on the back. People shouldn't be afraid to give themselves a stroke or two and make a light-hearted remark about how wonderful they are. Because most people are pretty wonderful, and it's extremely easy to forget what it is about yourself that is good. And a ritual like the Ritual, the boasting rite, where you would tell lies about yourself in a light-hearted and fun way, was a way of expressing your belief that there were some things about yourself that were actually pretty good. Now, I don't know what it would be like for you to find such a way, and if you go around patting yourself on the back, people will look at you out of the side of their eye. But somehow, somewhere, I think we all need to find a way to give ourselves a stroke, to remind ourselves that there are some good things about us that are worthy of celebration. Consider that. Hey, thank you for your time and attention today. I'll be back next week with another talk on a different subject. I'd like to invite you to join me. It helps me a lot if you let others know about my work and my videos. So please like, share, and subscribe. And if I could be of help to you, feel free to reach out. Have a great week.